I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
The all-new, first-ever, all-electric Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack.
With Fratzonic Exhaust and launch control. Okay.
That was pretty all right.
Interesting.
Horsepower and torque.
Up to 670 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque from 2 electric motors and a 93.9 kilowatt-hour battery.
But most importantly, let's listen to it
From the outside. And what about from the inside in track mode?
And when you let off, it goes whoosh.
Okay, I'm gonna now press the power shot button.
That's
Okay.
better, but it doesn't feel like that horsepower.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna plead with you guys watching on the toilet right now. We know that you guys are upset. We're upset. I love V8s. I have 5 of them. There's no one more upset in the world with the lack of Hellcats than me. But let's just work through this video. Let's see what Dodge has done to make this into the first EV muscle car that they're claiming.
Yes, because they had to do this because of regulations,
They're forced to it.
and they already produced over 1 million V8s of the last Dodge Charger and Challenger generation. So that still exists. You can find one on tsp.truecar.com. So now let's get into what this is, I guess.
Okay, let's start with the Fratzonic Exhaust.
So we heard it from the outside.
We've heard it from the inside.
Can we put it in neutral and rev at those cool kids saying rev it as we cruise down on Woodward Boulevard?
I'm in neutral right now.
No.
I'm in drag strip mode. Let's change it. Custom, wet snow, auto, sport,
Okay, now come to a full stop.
track.
Full stop. Put that bad boy in park.
Let's try neutral still. It's in neutral.
So it can rev in neutral when you're stopped. It can rev in park when you're stopped, but it cannot rev in neutral while you're rolling at all.
Right.
That's kind of a miss. Like, people
Gonna
want you to be
roll?
able to rev at them, right?
Yeah, as soon as you're going.
Okay, that's not good.
What if I come to a complete stop? I'm floored. And see, when it noticed that it was at 0, when we were still rolling,
Yeah.
I was floored, so it let us have...
So Dodge, you need to fix that, because
Yes.
as annoying as this exhaust may be for everyone in the wild, you need to be able to rev it, kids. The more and more I hear them drive by with the Fratzonic exhaust, the more it feels right. From the outside, at least.
So, those drive modes change the interior and exterior sound. As you can hear that, with the sound cutting in and out between the drive modes, which really takes you out of this futuristic V8 illusion. Like, watch.
Yeah, blend that.
Yes.
Cross
So,
dissolve.
definitely need to blend that. And then the next thing you need to blend, Dodge, is the power shot. So it goes on and off, and you can hear it cut in and out, just like the drive modes. It's very strange.
But they did want this to be as loud as a current Hellcat Red Eye from the outside, and it kind of is.
It is.
I feel like it's as good as anyone could have made the outside exhaust sound. And if there was any company that had to do it, it had to be Dodge.
Yes.
So I think overall, yeah, it's a little annoying, might be a little obnoxious, but they did the best they could, and someone had to do it, and it had to be them.
Yeah. So my suggestion to Dodge, because when you have it in track and drag mode, that is the loudest interior and exterior, you can't customize the interior versus exterior volume. And I find that track and drag are a little bit too loud and droney, and you can hear a little bit of interior rattles that really take you out of the moment.
From the speakers and stuff?
Yes, but that gives you the loudest outside. So what I want Dodge to do is to either add some sort of setting into here for interior versus exterior volume.
Like, it'd be nice to have like none in here and just outside.
Yes, or a little bit in here and all outside.
Yeah, and never all in here and none outside.
Exactly.
So that's the next thing on the list that we would like changed
Yes.
with over-the-air updates.
It's fun trying to figure this vehicle out while we're criticizing it and adding our opinions and what they can change. Because like,
we're the first ones to be driving it as like car reviewers and not like people who work at the company.
yeah, and we've been speaking to the engineers at Dodge, and they're open to our suggestions because this is a pre-production vehicle that we're driving. So by the time it launches, which is actually fairly soon, they might be able to implement some of these changes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you'll be able to find one of these new ones as well on tsp.truecar.com if you love the exhaust sound.
Yes. Next thing, let's just explain to the people that we are driving the Scat Pack. So we do have up to 670 horsepower. Now,
Why does it say stage 2 on the fender?
okay, so the Scat Pack is by default stage 2. The RT is by default stage 1.
Yeah, but apparently stage 1 is like $1,600 on the Mulroney. But I think it's included this year, but next year it might not be.
I think that's what it is.
So that stuff is confusing.
And so the RT has 496 horsepower with the 40 horsepower power shot. So you have to subtract 40 horsepower if you're driving in any of the modes other than auto from what we found.
Yes, because in auto, when you floor it, it automatically gives you that power shot I have found.
Yes. So I'll put it into auto right now. So we lose the sound, and I'm gonna floor it. And that feels like the 670, press power shot and nothing. And there we go, but it activated under braking.
Power shot takes a second to like kick in because it puts it in a little theater.
Yes.
Not like a Porsche turbo button that'll just go.
Yes, and you only have 10 seconds of that power shot. So right now I'm in power shot and auto. It doesn't feel like we got any more.
And like the Genesis GV6, I think also had a boost mode button that kicked it in right away.
Yes. So it's definitely quite strange. But I do like the drive mode selector on the steering wheel.
Which you can double click to make it a custom.
Yep. And then you can then further customize all your modes through the infotainment.
Which is a lot more fluid, a lot faster, and all that stuff.
It is Uconnect 5, but compared to our previous experience with other vehicles, Uconnect 5, this one seems to be less laggy.
Okay, so you start talking about the infotainment. We need to stop, halt, and say, does it look good or does it look bad? Because this is a 2-door. They're also going to have 4-door, and they're also going to have gasoline motors in this same body, but with like, this looks awesome, right?
It does look really good.
It's supposed to look like a 68 Charger, but also cool.
Yep.
I think they nailed the looks.
Yep, I think they nailed it.
They call the RoboCop headlight, DRL light, they call that the drag strip lines or something.
The actual line, yeah. And then in the EV, which is the Daytona version, we have the R-Wing. So the R-Wing is a literal pass-through for aerodynamics.
It's awesome. And when you pop the front, you actually have storage there. But the gas one is not going to have that because obviously different, needs a full motor in there.
And apparently the R-Wing was named after a NASA engineer who also worked on old Dodges, who was named Gary Romberg. So it's the R-Wing after Gary.
And then speaking of naming stuff, the Fratzonic Exhaust is named after the Fratzog, which is that logo that's on the back, which was from the 60s or something too. So they just kind of played off that.
And that's Dodge's new logo now, which I can see in the infotainment. I can see in the front grille, which also lights up, and everywhere else.
Okay, from the side view, nice clean body lines, really cool muscular, like built-in door handles that don't stick out because we got like a little push button on the door to even get out.
Yeah, and the craziest part to me is that this is super wide. It is, I think, 2 inches wider than the outgoing Hellcat wide body versions. So this is actually 0.1 inches narrower, 0.1, than an F-150.
That's kind of crazy.
But it doesn't look like that. So I think if there is going to be an SRT Banshee version above this, and they make it even wider, that might need 3 amber marker lights in the grill.
Well, that is coming up.
It is, but like
Yeah,
if they make
I'm
it
sure
wider,
they built it as wide. Like, this is as wide.
yeah, I think so too, because it's literally like 0.1 under the limit.
Yeah. And then how about the back end? Do you like the taillights too?
I do. Yeah, it looks really nice and futuristic, but also past.
And the taillights are nice. They go all the way across in the back, kind of like an old Charger. Like,
Yeah, and then the Fratzonic Exhaust is
bottom,
in the middle,
yeah.
like right in the middle, and it is a literal speaker.
bro, this car is a friggin' hatchback.
Yes, that is nuts. I actually didn't expect that.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it doesn't look like that, which is really impressive.
And then as for wheels, we got dark ones on this. Cool bluish turquoisey color. We wanted the orange, they didn't have an orange. We wanted the red, Rady stole the red from us. We wanted a silver, they didn't have the silver.
Yeah.
But the color's pretty cool, and the wheel designs are cool, a lot cooler when they're lighter wheels. And for everyone driving everywhere except for Arizona where we are, get some Continental winter tires on your cars right away.
Yes, or if you are in Arizona, where it never snows ever, you can also just get some summer tires right now.
Apparently someone in the comments says Arizona does get snow once in a while.
Really, Yuri? Really?
Who would have thought? So sunny and nice out here.
And we now have 6 piston Brembos in the front and 4 pistons in the back, and like, this feels like it needs it. This is actually quite heavy, and it feels quite heavy.
Yeah, well, that's why the high horsepower probably doesn't feel as fast as it should.
So let's get back into the fun modes that this has, because we've already explored the regular drive modes. Now we do have a drift mode and we have a donut mode. Yuri, what are we gonna do with those modes?
We're gonna test them all out. We haven't yet, but we're gonna do it right now.
Dip and flick. Don't look at that girl now. See?
All right, redeemed, right?
So we just finished doing some drifting.
Yeah, it can slide, but it's not really that enjoyable.
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of figuring out what is the computer doing, because the front axle is supposedly disconnected, but I think
I'm pretty sure sometimes when you understeer and try to floor out of it, it's plowing.
Or it's plowing, and that's just understeer, and that's just tire smoke, not actually from power, but from understeering. So once you lose the drift, there's no catching it. You literally just have to back off and start over.
Yeah.
So I figured it out. It was kind of easy once I got it, but still not as easy as a normal rear-wheel drive anything, really.
It's cool when you can do it, but it's not super enjoyable. And I did do like one little like donut in the middle, and that was easy to do, just like a donut. But yeah, I would recommend just normal car if you're trying to slide.
V8 manual rear-wheel drive.
VQ, trumpet, handbrake. So drift mode gives you the low, medium, and high. Low is drift, medium is drift, and high is donut mode. In every one of those modes, it'll send all the power just to the back. And then in low and medium, there'll be some ESC on still. Apparently in high, there's absolutely no ESC, and in all those modes, it does lock the rear mechanical diff.
And why don't you do a launch with that on?
Low, medium, or high?
High.
Okay.
Drift mode on, no launch control, slip limit high, technically everything should be off for ESC.
Activate, and it should just do a little burnout, I think. It just did the literal slowest launch off the line I've ever felt in my life.
And it says drift mode canceled, drift mode active, so. What's going on?
One eternity later.
So we're gonna show the whole thing that we did to try to get it to launch and do a little bit of a burnout. And what you really need to do is be in sport mode, press power shot.
And full traction off by holding this button.
And then
Smoke 'em.
You get a nice smoky launch. But until we figured that out, we tried it in track, we tried it in drift mode, we tried it in drag mode and auto mode. None of that stuff really worked out, like unless you did it that specific way.
Yes. It's very tricky to get this into the right conditions to do dumb stuff that I would expect from a Dodge Charger customer.
So if I put activate drift mode.
Dumb in a fun way, because that's what I would do.
Power shot.
No.
No, so drift mode actually 100% robs your launch.
So drift mode is for drifting on a course or a parking lot.
Even though that is the donut mode of drift mode.
Yes.
You really need to be turned.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about range, Yuri, because this is a battery electric vehicle at the end of the day.
What has more range, this or the lower trim RT version?
The RT version has a max range of 308 miles, and the Scat Pack that we're driving has a range of 241 miles.
Nice. And I guess they didn't prioritize that. They just prioritized it being a cool electric muscle car.
Yes, so Dodge's FU to the regulation industry was, we are going to make this as high performance as possible. We're going to get the most out of the battery, and the range is whatever it ends up being, apparently.
That's a cool take.
That's the marketing take. I don't know if I believe them fully, but...
And then, get this fast charge?
Yes, it can. I think somewhere in the 20-minute range-ish on a level 3 if you're going to get optimal conditions, which we all know how that works. It doesn't.
And then the Banshee is going to be 800-volt architecture?
Yes, so the Banshee is kind of going to be like the old Hellcats, even though this has old Hellcat power and performance and all that stuff.
And I asked them if there'll ever be a V8, and they're like, no, there's not going to be a V8.
Yeah, so the Banshee is supposedly going to have more horsepower than the outgoing Red Eye, which was like, 800 horsepower, so that's probably going to have maybe 900 horsepower.
So then what would be the TotalEnergies recommended fluid for the electric Dodge Charger?
Well, Yuri, while electric cars don't require engine oil due to their simpler mechanics and reduced friction, they still need other fluids like coolant, transmission fluid, and brake fluid. These fluids ensure the smooth operation of mechanical parts, preventing overheating and maintaining braking efficiency.
But if you get one of the gas ones, you can put TotalEnergies oil in it.
That's right. And the 6-packs are coming. Apparently they accelerated production, so they should be coming sometime.
Like mid-late 2025?
Yes, earlier than they were supposed to.
And then I think 4-door electrics come early 2025.
Yeah, we should mention that because we are driving a 2-door, but the interior space is exactly the same as the 4-door versions that are coming.
So most importantly, Mr. Tall Man, do you fit behind yourself at 6'1.5"?
I don't fit that comfortably in the back. I feel like I had much more space in the old Charger.
How is your head resting on the roof instead of the headrest?
I don't know, man.
So apparently the 4-door is going to be the exact same space, just with 4 doors, so that's interesting. But I fit fine at 5'8", so, whatever. And
exterior proportion-wise, I actually think the 4-door looks a little bit better than the 2-door, even though it's all the same.
No, 2-door looks perfect, man. This thing was great.
I don't know, I really like the 4-door.
And then more stuff inside. We have a Squircle.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. We have Unreal Ambient Lighting. Whoever designed the interior materials and looks absolutely killed it. We got 64 different colors of mood lighting. They called it the attitude adjustment, which I think is probably trademarked by John Cena from wrestling.
Oh, man. And this is actually real carbon fiber.
That's
I
wild.
did double check, and a huge swath of it throughout everything. We also have it around the shifter as well.
We have a pistol grip shifter, which is a little tricky to use.
The stitching is incredible. Like, this feels like a very upscale interior coming out of the previous Charger.
Cup holders look like they'd be good for a small cup of coffee, but not for Red Bulls. We know that.
Terrible for Red Bulls.
Visor test.
Let's see, suede.
3, 2, 1.
Yes, good job.
Perfect. And we have a big glass roof that you can option, which is like really, really awesome.
You know what? If you're tall, probably don't option it for tall people in the back. I imagine you'll have a little bit more headroom.
Okay, we got seat presets too, which is nice. The infotainment, we have a bigger screen in the Scat Pack than we do in the base RT, but you can get the bigger screen in the RT as well. And the infotainment is nice and smooth. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wired, wireless. We have a wireless charger. We have a lot of buttons for your ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, a volume knob, but we don't have too many more buttons besides that.
And we do have a 360 camera, which is pretty...
on this trim, yeah.
Pretty fancy for what this car is.
Well, I mean, we do have a tuning knob as well, but yeah, it's the infotainment's nice. It's decent.
We do have lane keep assist with lane centering on this, and I think it's standard on all models.
We got a head-up display, which works well. We have a pull e-brake. We do not have a third pedal brake anymore, which I'm a little sad about, but I'll take what I can get.
And these seats are the upgraded seats. They are very comfortable.
Yeah, you can also get the normal seats and cloth. You can get up to red suede kind of seats.
They're much less couchy than the outgoing Charger,
but still good for larger people to sit in.
Absolutely.
And then there's also a dash cam mode that we haven't messed with yet, but that's pretty cool. It's it can do your lap times and stuff and track stuff, but also work as a dash cam. And
since we are driving on this fairly bumpy road, we what mode are we in here? Custom. So we don't know what we customize that to. So
let's go to auto. Let's go to a nice, cool auto.
Well, we also don't know what auto is going to put us in. So put us in sport. It's a little bumpy on this road, but I think sport's going to have, the bumpier suspension. So if we go to dashboard and race options and then go to, nope, never mind.
So you have to go to vehicle, dashboard, drive modes, and then sport setup, which is a little too many buttons to get to this page.
So now I'm going to put it into street suspension, which it doesn't let me do right now.
Okay, what if
I can only go to sport or
now I'm in auto.
Okay, so now we can go, oh yeah, that smoothed it out.
That's nice.
Okay, so street suspension on this really poor road, is actually really soft.
How's the noise?
And we do have adaptive dampers on here, which is like a whole new system for this car, and I think they did a great job. I mean, just from this example alone, like look, you can tell the difference between sport, track, and street right away.
But like the noise coming in from the road, it's not even that bad.
No, it's not. It's actually really quiet.
The steering is in
too.
sport. Put me in track.
You probably have to be dead straight steering because that's what the old one made you do.
Yeah, it feels a little heavier.
Street.
Oh, like a couch.
Does it feel like a video game?
No, it feels normal.
How's it handle around cliche one turn?
We're gonna find out our handling at the racetrack.
Drag racing, Yuri, what was your fastest time?
My fastest reaction time was 0.107.
What was your fastest quarter mile time?
12.131.
Fastest quarter mile time for me, 11.76.
And that's with launch control, but you feathered it and I stayed floored.
And you had wheel spin the whole time, and I did not, I don't think at least.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what you gotta do with all-wheel drive cars.
So it is quoted at 11.5. No one here today got 11.5. I was the second or third fastest with an 11.7, but everyone's in the 11.7s. It is a hot day. They're using the same cars over and over. The battery's going down, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and you really have to let off the launch control a lot earlier.
Yes, to time the
the
tree.
light. And then how about the racetrack, the lap driving?
That was all right. It was kind
electric
of
cars are kind of weird on tracks. Slam the gas in,
yeah.
hit the brakes hard, slam it in. Yeah, that was kind of weird. A lot of like stabbing and going. The throttle just picks up so quickly. It's like almost a little like jarring. And then yeah, you really got to remember they go faster than they brake.
I was trying to get the sensation of speed from the exhaust, but I wasn't quite getting it because it's not simulating gears, so it's hard to understand the speed. And then I put it into track mode to get the louder exhaust mid-lap. It's pulling power. The ESC's cutting off. I'm floored. Wow. I'm going back to sport mode. But it was pulling so much ESC that I got more power back in sport mode with a quieter exhaust. I was like, all right, this is interesting.
I definitely blew a braking point or two.
Okay.
Because I forgot.
All right, well, that's how it is on the track. I don't know how many we're gonna see at a track day, but drag strip, I expect to see these. And
takeovers on the internet, on Instagram. By December 25th, I can guarantee we'll see it on the Instagram. Be safe out there.
See you guys don't take over Instagrams.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
We do not condone.
So is this thing fast?
Kinda.
It like doesn't feel like that number because it's so heavy, and the fact that you either have to be in auto or press the power shot.
So many tricky modes to get that right speed.
Yeah.
It's a steep learning curve, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the default should be that number that they quote.
But I guess the default is auto, and when you floor it does put you into the power shot, so I guess it's kind of fine.
But then you can't have the exhaust or inzost or whatever they want to call it.
Fratzonic.
Yes, so it's just a little bit strange.
So with all the track driving experience and all that stuff over with, I think it's time we get to the price.
So the RT that we're not driving, the base model, starts at $59,595 US dollars.
American.
But $57,790 Canadian. So it actually costs less in Canada, which is pretty wild. And the RT can get as expensive as $73,875 Canadian.
So how about the Scat Pack that we're in right now?
The Scat Pack starts at $73,190 US dollars, but $89,790 Canadian dollars. Fully loaded through Dodge's Canadian website, I got this as expensive as $109,918 Canadian dollars.
Damn, that's a lot.
That is a lot. So I assume this one feels like it's fully loaded, so we are the US dollar equivalent of that, and that is a lot of money.
So at the end of the day, is this more fun than an Ioniq 5N? 3, 2, 1.
No.
Is this better than an i4?
Yeah.
1, 2. Well, I don't even know what we're asking.
I don't
it's
either.
It's like, kind of like...
This is definitely a different take.
This looks way cooler. Everything about this is cooler.
Yeah.
But probably not as fast.
I would take this over an i4. I would.
Yeah.
But would I take this over an old Charger? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they're doing a good job of moving to the future. I think a lot of people are going to like it because the looks are cool and refreshing. Is it as fun as literally anything with a V8 that they made in the past? No.
No.
But this is the future. This is what they have to do because they're not allowed to make V8s because they made them for too long. Over 1 million, which we're thankful for.
Yeah.
I think in time, this is going to get better and better. They started so well. There are so many good things with it. The looks, the interior, most of the drive modes are pretty cool. A lot of it works well. Like, I think it's gonna get there.
I don't know how well this is gonna sell as a 2-door EV muscle car. As a 4-door, I think it has a better chance. I just don't know if like Dodge buyers are going to buy this. I think this is going to be some kind of new customer base that Dodge hasn't had. I don't know if it's a strange proposition, and I don't know.
Can I get your reaction to the speaker sound? Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, ready, set.
Sick.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it. I love it. I got a charger.
Yeah?
My sister has a charger. My girl's best friend has the Scat Pack.
Oh, really?
But I know they were going electric, and electric's the future. I know. I love it.
All right.
I'm a Dodge customer with a Charger.
We are Dodge people, yeah.
right.
I love it, man.
That's perfect.
Hey, good job, man. Great looking car.
I like it. Good attempt. Couple things to work on, but for the most part, like, looks cool. Interesting sound.
Yeah.
Overall, good attempt.
I like that they had fun with it.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.
And I hope your toilet time was great watching this video.
Yeah, we know you guys watch our channel on the toilet.
Yeah. Why else wouldn't you watch it?
Hit subscribe while you're sitting there.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys working through us with this new vehicle because it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
That's it.